Welcome back, movie lovers. Imagine you're stuck in a place where time stops for you. Everything around you stays the same, but thousands of years pass on Earth in a snap. This is what happens in today's story, a world where time changes everything. An archaeologist named Hopper goes to a strange cave while exploring the jungle. It wasn't covered with grass. Curiosity sparked in his mind, and he went straight to the cave's entrance. When he got there, he saw a human figure standing still inside. He called out many times but got no answer. Seeing this, Hopper understood something was off, and he called his dog and went back home. After saying goodbye to his students and packing his things, he returned to the jungle. First, Hopper tied ropes at the cave's entrance for safety. Then he took his dog and started going inside. At the entrance, the dog refused to go further. With no choice, Hopper confirmed the man was still standing there unmoving. He decided to go into the cave alone to check. After a few steps inside, Hopper saw the air moving strangely in front of him, like an invisible wall between the cave and the outside world. This odd thing made him more curious. Without thinking twice, he decided to go deeper into the cave. As he got closer to the man, he saw the man's body start to move slowly. When Hopper crossed the air wall, the man suddenly moved fully as if everything was normal. This made Hopper even more worried and confused. Hopper didn't dare talk to the man until the man vanished. Another strange thing was that as soon as Hopper went deeper, the outside light started moving for no reason. Then after the roar, human screams echoed. Hearing this, Hopper realized this place was very dangerous. Shaking with fear, he decided to run out without looking back. But when he came out, the outside world had completely changed, like he was in the future. The strangest part was his dog, which was supposed to be at the entrance, was gone. The only relief was his car was still there. But when he got closer, he saw the car was covered in bushes and wouldn't start. At first, Hopper thought someone was pranking him, but when he saw his ID card yellowed from age, he realized it was serious. He didn't have time to think about it. His only thought was to get out of this strange, scary place as fast as possible. Suddenly, Hopper saw a car on the road. He shouted loudly but got no answer. With no other option, he thought of taking the battery from that car for his own, but when he checked it, his heart stopped again. The car had been abandoned for years. Hopper knew well that when he first came here, there was no car there. While thinking about this, he saw an old backpack inside the car. It belonged to his student Taylor. Hopper called out for Taylor everywhere but got no answer. Now he was scared. There was only one possibility: Taylor had gone into that cave too, to keep his students safe. Hopper decided to go back inside. What Hopper didn't know was that when he crossed the air wall, the first time 3 days had passed outside, Hopper's sudden disappearance made Taylor think something was wrong. Taylor gathered 4 friends and went to look for Hopper in the mountains. They didn't find Hopper's car on the way, but found a family photo from Hopper's childhood in an abandoned bus. Taylor thought Hopper must have come to these mountains alone to find his family who vanished here years ago. This meant Hopper was somewhere nearby, but they hadn't found any sign of him yet. While thinking about this, Taylor found an old rope behind the bus. Following it, they reached an empty cave. The rope was broken at the cliff's edge. What was below was hard to tell. They couldn't confirm if Hopper was trapped down there. But 4 of them decided to climb down, and see Furby, who was naturally scared, chose to stay outside to keep watch. He had no idea this choice would be the biggest mistake of his life. Meanwhile, the other 4 climbed down the cliff with the rope. As they went down, they passed through an air wall. Since it didn't stop them, they ignored it as normal and kept going. When they reached the bottom, Jackie and Weaves were excited to start exploring. Then a loud bang from deep in the cave reached their ears. At first, Jackie and Weaves were curious about what was inside, but then a human scream echoed from the cave, and they realized the place wasn't safe at all. Jackie decided it was better to go back to the surface, but as he stepped on the rope, it suddenly broke. Jackie fell and twisted his leg. Taylor, trying to hold him, lost his balance and hurt his hand. The injury wasn't the main issue, it was why the rope broke. The other rope also snapped with a slight pull. At first, Taylor thought Furby was joking. In anger, Taylor grabbed the radio and yelled at Furby. But even after calling for a long time, Furby didn't answer. While the group tried to understand what was happening, they heard a loud sound of something falling nearby. The sound froze everyone. Taylor pulled himself together and tried to contact Furby on the radio to lower another rope. He was shocked when his own voice echoed back from the tunnel ahead. Thinking it might be a hallucination, he tried again. After a while, Furby's voice came through the radio screaming for help. This made the group even more worried. To figure out what was happening, the four decided to find Furby. As they passed through an open area, they saw the light near the entrance getting brighter, then dimmer. This scared everyone. Then Kara's eyes caught something near the entrance. She climbed a rock and saw an old broken rope. It was clearly Furby's. When she looked down, her heart stopped. Furby's lifeless body lay below. The group was heartbroken to see Furby's death. Seeing the broken rope, Taylor thought someone cut it on purpose when Furby was climbing down, but it didn't make sense. Furby was a coward and would never climb down alone, no matter what anyone said. Taylor was confused. Luckily, Furby's recording device was on. The group decided to watch the footage to find answers, but the more they watched, the more confused they got. The recording showed that as soon as the group went down, 7 days passed outside for Furby. During this time, Furby found Hopper's Jeep and an emergency rope tied to the mountain's base. On this journey, Furby also found an old medieval journal in an abandoned bus. It said the Spanish Queen sent an expedition to find the Fountain of Youth. But the explorers suffered heavy losses from cave natives' attacks. Some escaped with difficulty while the entire army vanished mysteriously. Furby's discoveries didn't stop there. That evening, he found another journal belonging to Hopper's father. It revealed Hopper's parents came to find the Fountain of Youth to save their sick daughter. The recording fast-forwarded 7 days. By then, Furby ran out of food. The four who went down still hadn't been found. With no other options, Furby thought the others had died. He couldn't drive Taylor's manual car and couldn't travel thousands of kilometers home. So he pinned his hopes on Hopper's car keys. Furby prepared to climb down the rope to find Hopper's body. The cave entrance's light suddenly shone brightly. The rope snapped and Furby fell to the ground. What he saw was so horrific the group couldn't watch more and stopped the recording. But this raised new questions. How was the group in the cave for only hours when Furby experienced 7 days? They had no answer. One thing was clear. Whatever was happening was because of this strange cave. Their biggest goal now was to escape. But no one trusted the ropes anymore. Only Kara was an expert climber. She decided to climb up and get help. When Kara reached the top, what she saw shocked her. The lush green forest was now a barren wasteland. The air was so dusty she kept coughing. Her satellite phone had no signal. Then she saw a huge sandstorm moving toward her. Fast, Kara climbed higher to find a signal. While searching, she saw something that shook her. A triangular structure floated in the sky. The distance between Earth and the moon seemed much closer. The moon's craters were clearly visible without a telescope. In fear and panic, Kara ran back into the cave. She told her group everything she saw outside, but the group didn't believe her. They said she'd been gone for just a second and came back right away. To them, it sounded impossible. With no choice, Kara showed them her recorded video as proof. Taylor was shocked and gave her his recording device, which showed she'd been gone for only a second. Comparing the recordings revealed a strange truth. Time inside the cave moved very slowly. The flashing entrance light proved the sun was rising and setting outside. This explained why the ropes broke when the group tried to climb. A whole day passed outside. No rope could withstand such long friction. Now Taylor closely watched Furby's fall and death in the recording. As the video went on, things got scarier and more mysterious. When Furby fell, he didn't die right away. He was unconscious for a while, then slowly woke up. When Taylor called him repeatedly, Furby gathered courage and tried to contact him via radio. But then a large figure's leg appeared. Without hesitation, the stranger picked up a heavy stone and threw it at Furby. Everyone realized there were other dangerous people in the cave. But the real danger came when Weaves studied the new footage carefully. He noticed the sunlight's flicker wasn't steady while Furby fell. It kept changing direction. This was even more unsettling. At first, Weaves was confused, but when he slowed the video by 10 times, he fainted. The flickering sun was visible on the horizon, and each flicker marked a whole year. By this math, thousands of years passed outside for just 1 hour in the cave. After realizing this, Kara, who hoped to climb for help, was crushed. She wondered if humanity still existed on Earth. While Kara discussed this with the group, a glowing blue rod fell from the cave entrance and stuck in the ground. The group tried to figure out how to turn it into a ladder when a strange man appeared at the entrance. He wore a mask and was about 10 feet tall. The group was terrified and couldn't tell if he was human or something else. The man just stared without speaking. Everyone was scared. Then a wild man attacked him from behind. But using his size and advanced technology, the giant easily defeated him and crushed him to the ground. After winning, the giant looked at the group but still said nothing. The group was even more afraid. Taylor couldn't tell if the giant was a friend or foe, so they decided to run, but they didn't know the real danger was deeper in the cave. After passing a stone tunnel, they reached an open area. They were calm for a moment until their hearts stopped. A fresh body lay on the ground. The body was still warm, like it died just minutes ago. Jackie looked at the face and recognized it instantly. It was Hopper's mother, missing for 40 years. Hopper's father's body lay nearby too. The group tried to figure out how they died. Then they saw a group of wild men looting a cowboy's body. Taylor realized they could be the ones who killed Furby. He quietly told the group to leave through another tunnel, but one of the wild men spotted them. Knowing they couldn't outrun the wild men, Taylor decided to stay and fight so the others could escape. They fought for a bit, but the wild men knocked Taylor out and one killed him. Kara and the other two hid in a tunnel and escaped. When the wild men left, Kara returned to check on Taylor and found him badly hurt. As if that wasn't enough, the wild men returned. Kara's heart raced, but they didn't see her. The giant just filled water from a nearby pond and left. Seeing Kara's tears, the giant stopped and walked toward her. He gently turned from Kara, who was protesting, and picked up Taylor's lifeless body. The giant took Taylor to the pond and submerged him. Kara was confused and thought the giant was harming Taylor. She stepped forward to stop him. The giant gestured as if saying, "Everything's fine, stay calm." But then the wild men returned with torches and threatened them to leave. At that moment, Taylor woke up, but didn't know the giant saved his life. Seeing the giant fight the wild man, Taylor thought it was the perfect time to run while they were distracted. But during the fight, a wild man accidentally tore the giant's mask. Without the mask, the giant couldn't breathe the air. Realizing he had little time left, the giant used his advanced technology to pin the wild men to the ground and stop them. But unable to breathe, he fell. Seeing this, Taylor finally understood the giant was helping him. He quickly grabbed the giant's mask and tried to return it, but it was too late. The oxygen in the giant's suit had leaked out. The giant's final moments were near. And the group gathered around. Kara asked the giant about the outside world. Instead of answering directly, the giant used a device to scan the group's faces. He found their data in historical records, but only saw missing person notices filed by their families. There was no mention of the current year. Kara tried to learn more, but the giant used his last energy to project human history. The group learned that 1,000 years after their disappearance, Earth's environment collapsed. Oxygen levels dropped, causing mass extinction of trees, plants, and animals. To save humanity, people used a triangular, faster-than-light spaceship to go to Mars. The plan was to return to Earth after the ecosystem recovered. Knowing this, Taylor and his group realized their connection to human civilization was gone. Even if they reached the surface, their old life was lost forever. Taylor found a small hope when he saw Hopper's abandoned backpack. It reminded him why he entered the cave. Taylor decided it was time to find Hopper and plan the next step. He picked up an old revolver and went deeper into the cave. At one point, the path split in two. Taylor saw a trail of glow sticks on the ground. He assumed Hopper left them to mark the way. Following the sticks, Taylor reached a spot where he saw a wild man carrying a leather water pouch for his dying mother. Taylor looked around and saw many wild human bodies. All had bullet wounds. Taylor ignored the wild man, moved deeper into the cave. A bit further, Taylor reached a corner where he saw Hopper lying lifeless. No matter how much Taylor shouted, Hopper didn't respond. He was staring at something. Taylor looked up curiously. What he saw blew his mind. A blue barrier blocked the way, and a cave was visible behind it. Across the barrier, he saw a wild man chasing a little girl. Hopper looked at Taylor's confused face and explained, "That girl is my sister." He said time moves very slowly in the cave. From outside, the place looked frozen, like time had stopped. Hopper said this was just the start. The real mystery was inside the cave. A strange sight appeared in the cave. Medieval soldiers were fighting wild humans. They were likely the Spanish Queen's lost expedition. Centuries passed outside, but the fight in the cave had just begun. Time moved so slowly in the cave, it was hard to grasp. To save Hopper's sister, Taylor moved toward the barrier, but Hopper stopped him right away. Hopper warned that if Taylor went inside even for a moment, everyone else would be dead by the time he returned. His only option was to leave the cave as fast as possible. Taylor reluctantly listened to Hopper and tried to get him out, but Hopper had a spear in his chest that kept him from moving. At that moment, the magical water. The girl poured on the wild man, made him rise one by one. It was clear if they did nothing, no one would survive. Hopper understood and asked Taylor for the revolver, saying he'd use his last strength to give the others time to escape. Hopper yelled at Taylor to run while there was time. Hearing his warning, the group ran toward the tunnel, but when they reached the entrance, the shining white light had turned into a steady green glow. Everyone was confused, but time was short. They quickly moved to the giant's ladder to escape. As they reached it, they saw the entrance was now blocked by a shining green liquid. The wild people below were watching. After considering their options, Kara hesitated and put her hand in the liquid. But as soon as she touched it, an unknown creature pulled her inside. Kara fought hard and struggled to get her head back near the entrance, where Taylor grabbed her hand. The wild people's leader below curiously watched the ladder's glowing buttons. He pressed one and saw the result instantly. But strangely, the creature inside, instead of harming her, put an oxygen mask on her face. From Kara's view, Taylor and the group looked like time had stopped. Then 3 electronic tentacles shot out of the pool and grew inside the cave at lightning speed. The tentacles grabbed Taylor and his group, tied them tightly, lifted them in the air. The wild people below were stunned. Kara suddenly returned to the entrance and guided Taylor and the others to hold their breath. Then one by one, she pulled everyone into the water. The wild people below were shocked but had no time to react. Moments later, more tentacles entered the cave, but this time they ignored the wild people and explored the tunnels at lightning speed, like they were searching for something. The scene shifts and Furby suddenly wakes up in a pool of water. He looked around and everything was strange. Earth looked smaller than a window, like he was heading into space. Furby was trying to understand what he saw when Hopper emerged from the water. Both were shocked to see each other, but before they could speak, Taylor and the others arrived too. They wore new uniforms. Hopper's parents and sister were also saved by the magical water, and the film ends with this scene.